Hey folks, Rich here, South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. So last week's video, you saw me have to tear down one of my hives because it was no longer there and there was starting to be wax moth damage in it. So all the frames came out. The ones that were showing active wax moth damage all went in the freezer to start with, which filled the freezer up as much space as I had available for it. They stayed in there for 5 days and I took them out and put in the ones that had not actually showing any damage. And the ones that had not been showing damage had all gone inside a plastic bag with a small container of mothballs in it, just to make sure. And I had them sitting under a blue light, a moth light out here outside. So, at any rate, all those frames came out. The other frames have gone into the freezer now, and they're still currently being frozen. We've done a video in the past, and we'll link to that video, on how I'd like to preserve my honey frames for the next year. I have some boxes that are a really good size for it that I got from my son-in-law, that I can put them inside a plastic bag, close them all up, put a container of mothballs on top of that, and I'm good to go for the year. And it's been working fine for me for many years. Check that video out. It's a good one. But my son-in-law doesn't work there anymore. I can't get any more of those boxes. And this was a hurry up, got to get it done sort of thing. So I had to figure out some way to preserve all these frames for just a couple of months until I get my first swarms and I can start feeding them back into the bees, as finished comb. So this is what I came up with. This was just a stack of supers that was sitting here cleaned up and ready to go after I had, redone all of the disc on them and everything. So what I did was to take some signs. I cut them to size. You could leave them full size if you wanted, but then if you had rain, there would be a stand of water right here. I just prefer not to have that happen. So 33 frames. That's 4 boxes. What I did was I put one of these sheets here underneath it, stacked the boxes. On top of the boxes, I put some paradichlorobenzene, otherwise known as mothballs. Okay.
Just glare.
Glare, then I'll come over here.
Thank you.
Okay. So, the only product warranted to use in beehives is Paramoth. Paramoth is 99.6% parabenzene. These are from the dollar store. They're, oh look, 99.6% parabenzene. So instead of paying $28 a pound, this is $1.25 for 4 ounces. So that would be $5 for a pound of these. All right, it's the same product. Don't let anybody fool you. So the way parabenzene works is it's a little bit heavier than air. So while it gases off up here, those gases settle downwards. And that's really all there is to it. The last frame, because since my bottom box has 17 frames rather than 16, I have 1 extra frame. It just goes here. Could I have just put a Namiri shim 3/4 of an inch? Yeah, I could have. Could I have put one of my little 3-inch shims? Yeah, I could have. I could have done anything, but why make things more complicated?
So all 6 of those mothballs are taken care of. How many
4
boxes?
Well, 1, 2, well, just 3 is all we have right here right now.
I can smell it from here.
Yeah, well, that's because I just wafted it. So what you do want to do is go online to the Paramoth website or their ad or whatever, because it'll tell you that a 3 ounces of Paramoth will take care of, I think it's 6 deeps or 9 mediums like this, up to. So that's all you got to do about that. I'll put those back on in a minute. The only other thing you have to do, well, in my case, I have to get some tape on these. I only put the blue tape on there because it shows up better. I'd already used gaffer tape to put these on. So yeah, they're sealed whether the blue is peeling off or not. The next thing you got to do is, well, first thing you should have done is make sure you cleaned up all of the uh, propolis that was on here so that you got the tightest fit you could. Then you look around, there's actually a little gap right here. So recommended, because that's just the kind of spot that a wax moth really does like. So whatever type of tape you choose to use, just make sure that you seal these up. And this is in my screened pool area where I have a bug light going. So if there's any moths in the pool area at night, they're going to hopefully get attracted to the bug light and not way over here. But seal them up if you need to, a little better. This will keep them good for another couple of weeks until it's time to put them back out. I mean, it's the 9th of January right now. I probably won't catch my first swarm until sometime next month. And I will undoubtedly, if it's a good swarm, which it should be, I will start it off where that hive died out, and I'll start using some of these frames in there. You do, after you've had them like this, you do need to let them gas off. With the Paramoth, they say it's got to be 2 weeks. I've been doing this for years. I've never let anything wait 2 weeks. I do put them out 3 days ahead or so. If I pick them up and I sniff them and I can still smell it, then I'd let it go a little longer, but I don't think I've ever let it go more than 4 days before I actually started using them. But the longer you can let them off gas before you start using them, the better.
Can they gas off in the freezer?
No, well,
Or
I don't know
gas,
how that
rather?
would work.
No,
I don't know how that
because I
would
mean,
work.
if you put them out and you're letting them off gas, wouldn't that be a good time for the wax moths to move in again? But then hopefully the bees
No,
would take care of it.
you're not putting 30 of them on a little swarm of bees. You're putting just enough of them so that the bees are going to want to have them all covered.
Ah.
So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to show you real quick how I dealt with this little problem that came up. I had some frames I needed to keep preserved. So this is what I came up with to do it. Have fun, everybody. See you later.